My name is Bruce Walker. I'm a volunteer with Awesome Pets Alive and one of the builders of what you're going to see today. Also in the presentation is Bob Breeze. Bob, raise your hand. Bob was funder and builder on, assistant builder on one of the catteries that we built. And Lundy, raise your hand, is responsible at APA for all the outside adoption sites. And the purpose for building a cattery is not to show off carpentry skills. We don't have any, so that's not what it was about. It was about providing a place to present cats for adoption to the public and to provide a place that would be acceptable to the pet stores. So it had to look nice. It had to look like it was professional. And a space that's easy to clean, that people can see the cats. And so that was our goal, is to create that kind of a space. We use a lot of glass, but that's done with sliding glass doors. So that's why we chose glass, sliding doors, because of the glass. We're going to cover how to locate where a cattery might go, negotiating with that person, designing, and then the construction, and then the commissioning of a cattery. This is what we're going to talk about. Our building. This one happens to be in PetSmart in Lakeline, I think. Yeah, Petco in Lakeline. This was the first one that I was involved with in building. We had the funding. Lundy did you or Larry do the painting? Somebody did the painting in the room. That's one agreement I have. I do no painting. I hate to paint. I'll build it. I just hate to paint it. So, Lundy, but I will say this, it's a whole lot easier, we discovered, if you paint the room first and then build the cattery, because it's a lot of issues if you don't. So this is the kind of a cattery that we're talking about, and you can see the glass. And this is inside a room inside Petco. This was actually their dog training room. And the dog trainer was not particularly happy to give up the room, but the management wanted this to be cattery. So, Lundy, you're up. You've got a mic. Tell them how you find host sites.
Boy. Okay, so just looking for a host site, you know, if you go to the pet stores and tell them, you know, you're going to present the idea of this is going to, if you do adoptions from your store, for one, it looks good to the community because, you know, you're not encouraging them to go to breeders and whatever. They're, you know, rescuing an animal and they already feel good about that. So and it's going to help the store not only look better to the community, if they get a returning customer that, you know, every month or two or whatever, they're coming in to buy cat litter and food, and it's you know, generating revenue for Petcos and PetSmarts, and they're going to want to do that. So we had approached different stores. This one, the one that was in the slide, we didn't actually approach them. I knew the manager from a different store, and when she became manager of this particular store, she looked for me and said that she wanted to have a cat adoption center. For the one that Mr. Breeze helped build, I did actively look for a store to do this cattery in. And again, same thing, you know, we just presented to them that, you know, this would be good for you, this would be good for us, it will help you increase sales, and, you know, we'll give you more of a public face because, you know, then people will see, because this store's, the one that Mr. Breeze helped us with is a Pet Supplies Plus, and they're not as known, so it helped get them out and their name out into the public. So, yeah, I mean, basically, all I did to find the stores was ask. That's really all you have to do is just go and ask, and you know the stores are going to want to participate. Now with Petco's, here they've kind of put a cap on building out, but there's, you know, several different pet stores. So I don't know if that answered anything I was supposed to answer. Fundraising. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, okay. So with fundraising, so with this cattery, I had seen the space. The one we're talking about, the one that, well, actually, I'd seen the space on both of these ones that we're talking about. So we had seen the space, and then I had asked Bruce initially on the first one, you know, what sizes do these need to be, and you know, what is the cost? What do we think the cost is going to be? So he had went to Home Depot and found the materials we would need, and then so we planned accordingly. We can do 4 spaces at X amount, and that's how we did that. Identifying fundraising opportunities. Do what?
Go ahead, keep going.
So with, I'm sorry, this is not really my area here, folks. But with the, we had put the idea on Facebook. No, we'd put it on our main page, correct? Isn't that where you saw it? And we had asked for, you know, hey, we have this great idea. Can anybody help us with this? And Mr. Breeze was the gentleman who could help us with this and was able to help us build this out. And I am so sorry I am not good about knowing about my fundraising. So we had a young lady who did this last year, and she knew far more about that than I do. But that's basically, again, it was just as simple as asking. So.
Okay, thanks. What helps when you're, when we were planning this, is everything is bought at Home Depot, and I'm not here to promote Home Depot, except that's where everything, you can get most everything. So everything was bought at Home Depot, so we were able to price out everything that we needed in one place to determine what it was going to cost to build a cattery. And once we had that list of requirements, we knew how much money we had to raise. So there is a document. We don't have one here, but we have a document, and we'll tell you later how to get it, that's got all of the information you need to, all the cost information you need in order to project how much a cattery might cost you to build. And then it's got all the instructions on how to build this. I'm just going to go through roughly how to do it, but they're step-by-step, excruciatingly detailed instructions on how to build a cattery. And everything starts with the tools, and it's not anything that most of your volunteers, somebody would have. The one thing that when I did the first, the one thing I had to rent was just a hammer drill, because we had to drill in concrete, and I didn't have one of those. Bob happened to have one for the second cattery, but everything else I had in my shop. I'm not a carpenter. I do some woodworking in my shop, but I had never built anything like this when I was called and asked to do it. And as a volunteer, you just jump in and say, sure, and figure it out as you go. But they're pretty basic tools, not anything real difficult. Sawhorses and ladders and things like that. As again said, we bought everything at Home Depot, and including the sliding glass doors, because this whole thing is built around sliding glass doors. They deliver, so they delivered the doors, so we didn't have to worry about that. And everything else you could put in the back of the pickup, so it wasn't that difficult. The only thing I learned was in the second Cattery, when Home Depot delivers, that means they put it at the door. And you're responsible for getting it inside the room where you're going to be working. And that was, since I was there by myself that day, that was a little bit of a struggle. One of the most important things of any of this is measuring. And here I am trying to get the post set. This is the material that it's built out of. It's just rough 4x4s and 2x4s. Rough cedar, fairly cheap. And if you have someone, or you can cut an angle that can make a corner like that, and if you can cut a notch and a shoulder and make a joint like that, you can build this cattery. Because that is the most complicated cutting parts of building. You have to be able to measure and know your way around a measuring tape, but because you have to get these posts exactly in the right place, because you're going to push the sliding glass doors into those openings to make the cattery. So that's the hardest part, is getting those posts in exactly the right place. But it can be done. I did it, had never done it before, so it can be done. The actual construction, you can see that these posts set on, I don't have a pointer here, I don't think, or do I? Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can see this or not, but that's a bracket that is screwed to the floor. That's why I had to have the hammer drill. You screw that to the floor, and then the 4x4 sits down in that bracket, and that creates the parameters between which you push the sliding glass doors. These are sliding glass doors from Home Depot, the cheapest they make. The first one we did, those were about $290 a piece, and we needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, and so that was what the cost. And that's the main cost of building these, is the cost of those sliding glass doors. They've gone up some, and when you do your estimate on what you're going to have to raise, you just need to go to Home Depot and ask what is the cheapest sliding glass door you need, and it's 5 feet wide.
You might want to also mention that at least here in Austin, they've changed the availability of those sliding doors, because they used to be single pane.
That's true. You used to could get, the first ones we got were single pane, cheap, but because of the push to raise R values and green and things like that, these now are double paned, and that has raised the cost. And that's the only way you can get them now. These doors just push in and screw with a tab. You know, you build the frames, and you just push them in and screw them down. There you can see where it's pushed in and screwed down. And you just keep doing that, and you fill up all the holes. Once you get the frame built, it goes pretty fast. because you just push these in and here's that cut that you have to make in order to build the frame. When the top plate comes across a 4x4, you have, and the side plate's going to come in like that, you have to have a notch so you can attach this to the 4x4. And then you put a top plate on that. But we tell you how to do that, give you the dimensions. This is the top you put on it when you finish it. The cats will escape if you don't do this. They will climb this wood in a second and be out in the store. So you have to have a top on it. This is just a wooden frame with chicken wire stretched over it, but it sits down on top of everything. There's a cat right here that is looking for a way out. But we have, with these tops, we've never had a cat escape through the top. Now we have had cats escape when the door's open, and there's too many in there and you can't keep them corralled. Both stores wanted locks on their door, on these doors, and that's what that is. They didn't want to have to stand back there and watch whether these cats got out or not. And they knew that children would just reach up and open the door if they could. And so they wanted locks on it so that couldn't happen. And so we have locks. They're a pain. They sometimes don't work. You lose the key. There's all kinds of things that can happen, but they insisted on a lock. And so we just keep the key in the room, and the volunteers that can open the door and change the boxes. And let's see. On the second one we built, we had actually a commissioning because it was built in honor of one of Bob's cherished cats. And so this was the commissioning, naming it. The pet store allowed us to put up the story about the cat, and then how the cattery, who funded the cattery. And then you get to the real reason you built this in the first place, and that is for cat adoption. So now this one was open for business. It took us, Bob, how long did it take us? A couple of weeks?
I think so.
It takes a couple of weeks to build one of these. The pet stores were very cooperative. I mean, they don't have to stop any of their business. In these cases, you're in a separate room. People stop in to see what you're doing, and some people just want to watch. They just like to see things built, and so they'll stand around and watch you. But I think this one was at, I don't know if this was Petco or not, but
That's Pet Supplies Plus.
yeah. Okay, Bob's going to take over now. He's our tech guy. He's an engineer,
Yes.
and he's the tech guy.
Yes, we tried to get a location online where you could pull this up just tomorrow or 6 months from now, but we were not able to get a URL or a wiki site. But for the instruction manual, there's a very nice instruction manual with a lot of photos and how-tos. There's an appendix that's just got nothing but photos of the different materials and how to put it together piece by piece. All that, we've got that available. If you could send me an email, if you'd like any of this, I can give you, I'll spell it out for you. It's bob.breeze, and that's breeze just like the wind, @gmail.com. If you send me an email, I'll send you links to all of that from the Google Drive.